Okay, it appears. It appears that I might be live. If we can get someone to let me know, hey, you're live, that would be great. Let's check those. Let's turn that up a bit. Alrighty, I'm live. I'm live. That's good. How we all doing? God, there's just chords going everywhere. There's chords going everywhere. Let's get some of this out of here. Okay. Alrighty. So I thought that today, I was well overdue for hanging out with you guys live. I did want to be doing these every month, but I've been pretty disorganized lately since I've moved out of home and since I've got my own place. I've been, let's just keep it down to I've been disorganized. So I thought we'd hang out tonight for a bit because it's night here. It's 10 p.m. here, which is in the middle of the day for me. A bit of a nighttime person. So, hopefully, I usually do these streams 12 hours from now. So, hopefully, there's a couple more of you guys are awake, and some of you guys that I don't usually get to talk to are here to hang out. So, I'm going to wait for some people to trickle in. I won't really be answering too much stuff about Game of Thrones. I will talk about it tomorrow. Obviously, we've got the finale tomorrow, and we have I'll be doing a long review, and I will also be I'll probably do another video on Game of Thrones a week after the premiere or another one after, because I hate reviewing stuff when you've got to review it straight away. I had to review John Wick straight away this week, and I wish I had a bit more time to sit on it. So, there's going to be a lot of Game of Thrones stuff coming up. Anyway, you guys are already asking questions, which is good. Is that the Harry Potter box set on the shelf behind me? Yes, it is. I've got Harry Potter, Breaking Bad, and The Wire sitting up there. The Wire I have not watched yet, and I will be watching it very soon. There's just a lot of newer shows to watch. I've just been working through season 1 of Barry. I'm currently watching Atlanta season 2, and I'm like Atlanta. Atlanta is honestly the second season of that show. Each episode gets better than the one before. For those of you guys that have watched it, I just watched the Drake's Mansion episode, and that blew my mind. That's my favorite episode of the show so far. Zazie Beetz, her character Van, outright one of my favorite TV characters. And I love that Atlanta is telling stories purely from that female point of view, because as a guy, I haven't really watched many shows with a female lead character. So that's my recommendation right now. Go out and watch Barry and go out and watch Atlanta. So questions are flying in. So first of all, I've just bought these this week. I'm probably going to take them back and get a different pair. I've never had on-ear headphones like this, and I don't know how people do it because this is so uncomfortable. This like bit that sits on your head, I hate it. I like having them in my ears, but I'm starting to get tinnitus, so we've got to do something about that, and hopefully this will counterbalance that a bit. So, okay, questions coming in. Let me go through. We've got an early question straight away. You guys love asking about the Oscars, and no matter how much I've tried to be like in the last year, like Oscars don't matter that much. Nolan's probably, if Nolan's film is like a period piece, like it seems to appear that it might be, a romantic period piece, Nolan's going to be looking at Oscars. He's going to appeal to those old white men. What's my favorite big scale monster movie? If Peter Jackson's King Kong counts, it's Peter Jackson's King Kong. I love that movie. I'm also a huge, obviously Pacific Rim, I'm a huge fan of. I also have this weird soft spot for Roland Emmerich's Godzilla. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid. I still love it now. Your questions are coming in so fast. What would you do to suggest to have a better understanding of the film business? Oh, I've said this before. If you guys out there are filmmakers, you want to get into film and you don't know much about the industry, you maybe haven't done don't have a degree, or you haven't done any courses or anything. Masterclass. So the master classes that are run with prestigious actors and directors and writers, they're invaluable. And also just following the media pages for films. So the Hollywood Reporter, Variety. I'd say follow IndieWire, but they've kind of gone down the drain. The Playlist. AV Club, follow those pages on Twitter or Facebook or whatever social media you use, just to see an inside of the business. They talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and it's a great way to learn the business a little bit more. Your questions are coming in so fast. Okay, hang on. Let's go back. I need to stop saying so much. Did I see Glass? I didn't end up seeing Glass. I do need to see Glass. So I did not end up seeing Glass. I probably should. But obviously I didn't really love Split that much. Despite watching Unbreakable and loving Unbreakable, I didn't really love Split too much. But I should check out Glass at some point. How's Jay doing? Jay's doing great. I saw his new play that he was in. He's done his second play this year now. And I saw the play, which is about 2 weeks ago, and he was fantastic in it. He's absolutely killing it. Like Jay's doing some great stuff. And he's sorry he can't hang out more. We've had all these ideas for get videos for Jay to do, and it's just, he's doing his thing and he's smashing it, and he's going to hang out with us whenever he can. So am I excited for the new Slipknot album? Hell yeah. I've been listening to the new track they released for about an hour each day for the last 3 days. I was listening to it on repeat for 2 hours the day it came out. So that's depression, I think, right there. That's what that is. Thoughts on Metal Gear Solid? I've only played 3, 4, and 5. God, these headphones are uncomfortable. And then I've watched 1 and 2 played through on YouTube. I'm a big fan of Metal Gear, but I've got a bad taste left in my mouth by 5. 5 was like an unfinished game. Or it was finished. It had its full story, and then you can keep playing it, and that was weird. Thoughts on Robert Pattinson as Batman? Robert Pattinson as Batman is just the best idea. I'd hoped for this. I talked about it a fair bit. I was a big fan of him doing it, and so it's not confirmed yet. It has not been locked in, but it looks like it'll go ahead, and it should, because it's fantastic. Again, we can't be like, oh, this person's a bad idea for Batman, or this person's a bad idea for whoever else gets cast in the movie, because we don't know what the movie is. We haven't seen the movie, so we have no idea whether they're right or wrong. People are like, Ben Affleck's a bad idea for Batman. Aside from actually looking like Batman, he was a great idea for that Batman in that movie. Thoughts on the Bond 25 production woes? It's a Bond movie. They always seem to have production problems. I cannot believe we're getting a Cary Fukunaga Bond film. It blows my mind. He's one of my favorite directors, and it just blows my mind we're getting a Cary Fukunaga Bond film. For those of you guys that don't know, the guy who directed season 1 of True Detective, as well as Beasts of No Nation and Maniac, is the director of the new Bond film. Buckle up, put that seatbelt on, because it's going to be wild. Some people are just anyone calling any character a Mary Sue doesn't make any sense. I don't think people actually understand the term. So, no, Arya Stark in Game of Thrones is not a Mary Sue. That would fundamentally undermine the 8 seasons of training to do everything she's shown she can do. Half the time, a Mary Sue is just a term for a guy who doesn't like a woman being able to do the things that they can do in a film. You know, no one questions that if it's a dude, but if a chick can do it, Mary Sue. It's bullshit. So, hang on, sorry guys, I'm trying to keep up. What city in Australia do I live in? I'm from Perth. So I'm from Perth in Western Australia. God, these headphones are driving me nuts. Gonna have to swap them for more comfy ones. Spend another $100 probably. Everything's so expensive when you're living out of home. Jesus. When is 2016 haircut Bailey coming back? Well, I said I'd grow my hair long again as soon as I could grow a beard, and it appears I finally can. So I might do it again. I'll probably do it when I'm closer to 30. Or as soon as I can't afford haircuts. If you see my hair start growing growing long soon, it's because I can't afford to cut my hair anymore. Have I watched Gotham? No, I haven't watched Gotham. It's not the kind of show I'd watch. I really, it sounds bad because I don't watch that much TV compared to a lot of people who watch like a season of TV in a day. I watch like 1 or 2 episodes a day max. And no, so I'm very picky with the stuff that I watch, and I never go, oh, this looks good, I want to see it. I always like, it's very rare that I watch the first season of a TV show before the second season's out. I like to know that either the first series was so good and had finality to it so I could walk away at that point, or that the show is going to continue to be great. So I pick up most shows in their second season. The only TV shows I watch immediately season 1 are shows by directors that I like. So obviously Noah Hawley, who did Fargo, doing Legion, I'm going to watch Legion. Brian Fuller, who did Hannibal, doing American Gods, I'm going to watch American Gods, and I haven't seen season 2 yet. I don't know if I will. So Gotham has never had great reviews. I don't crave superhero content, really. I think there's enough of it. I don't really necessarily need it in my TV, even though Legion is, and you better believe I'll be watching Watchmen later this year because it's made by the people that made The Leftovers. So, yeah, probably won't get around to watching Gotham. And just, yeah, it's just not my thing. Not including skits, how many short films have you written and directed? 4, 5, 6, 7. Depends on when you want to start counting your short films by. Like, if it was up to me, I'd say that I've made nothing. Not to say like I've liked stuff that I've worked on, but would I hold myself to it now? No. Whatever I make next, that's when I'll start counting from. So I've made stuff, just stuff that, yeah. I feel like, and it sounds terrible, but I feel like if I wrote and directed something now, I'd actually be able to stand by it. I think my skill level over the last couple of years has really increased, despite not having time to make much because I've been making these little videos for you guys, which is fine. I'm going to be progressing into doing a lot more filmmaking stuff later this year. I've done the YouTube thing for a long time, and I'm never going to stop doing it in some capacity, whether it's on this channel or the new channel. But I do need to I want to get back into making films again. I'm really craving it. Did I ever see the anime film Your Name? Yes, I did. I watched it recently. Maybe 6 months ago, and I loved it. It was incredible. Your Name, an incredible film. Absolutely beautiful. I could not fault any of it. I was just stunned by it. What a beautiful piece of cinema. I believe in cinema. Which pre-1980s film would you say has inspired you the most? Immediately my brain said Apocalypse Now, but it's not. I'm going to get back to you on that in a sec. I'm going to look that up because I actually have a list of stuff somewhere. So I'll get back to you on that one. Say you're trying to get into classic film. Name my 3 go-to recommendations. So I'm going to put those 2 questions together, and I'm going to answer those ones in a second. So I'm going to try to find my list of favorite films, and I'll go through and find out the ones which are before 1980, which are not many of them, because I'm really a big fan of modern filmmaking sensibilities that are combined with the old sensibilities, I guess. So, my favorite films are going to be more in the ballpark of stuff by Cuarón and Nolan and that. So, Leftovers or Breaking Bad, which one do I like more? Yeah, The Leftovers just. It's like having Breaking Bad is like a 12 out of 10, and The Leftovers is in 100. Best monologue in a film. I feel like I used to have a list of those because I used to watch a lot of very monologue-y films. Again, one that came to mind immediately was, I don't know if it's really a monologue, but the scene in Moonlight where Mahershala Ali's character is talking to Little. And at some point, you've got to decide who you're going to be. That monologue really connects to me. I really love that one. I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head in terms of monologues. Sorry, guys, your questions are powering ahead and I'm falling so far behind. Sorry, guys. Any DSLR camera good as a starting camera from an aspiring cinematographer? I've had this Canon 600D since I was in high school, since I was 14. So I've had this camera for 8 years now. And it sucks, but it really did the trick. That was what everyone had in high school. I haven't really kept up to date with cameras. That's what my cinematographers do. They keep up to date with all that stuff. I should get a new camera. I'm probably not the best person to ask in terms of cameras, but you probably can get something good as a starter for $1,200 should get you a good starting camera. And I think it's more about what you shoot, the quality of the camera. Something I used to stress about when I was making films and I was shooting on red, 8K digital cameras. It's irrelevant. You don't that stuff doesn't matter as much as I think we're taught to think it does. As I hate to be one of those people, but you've got an iPhone, you can shoot whatever you need to do. There's that. Why is IndieWire gone down the drain? A bit strong to put it that way, but they're very clickbaity. Many times I'll open up their articles and realize there's actually no content there. They've just come up with something to rage bait a headline. So I'm really trying to cut out rage baiting media out of my life because it's not healthy to have that around all the time. Thoughts on the Australian election? I won't say much about that because I don't really like to talk politics on here. I'm a pretty left-leaning person though, so no, our election went terribly. I need to not do it. I'm sure it's going to start happening at some point, probably more through the other channel. But being politically active is very important, regardless of what side of things you're on. I think it's, there's stuff in the world that we can be doing stuff about, and the stuff that we should be asking the people in power to do things about. And whatever those things are, argue for them. Politics matter. Don't just let life happen to you. Actually try to engage in that stuff where you can. That's all I'll say about that. Make a film of this wall. He could film that wall for 10 hours and I'd be like, oh, masterpiece. Big Fincher fan. New Mindhunter coming out soon. Whoa, big business. Butter and then peanut butter or on toast or just peanut butter. I would say butter and peanut butter, though I don't ever eat peanut butter. I haven't really eaten it since Jay. Jay's all about that peanut butter life, and he has it all the time. Favorite A24 film would be A Ghost Story, I believe. A Ghost Story would be my favorite A24 film. Otherwise, it's Moonlight. One of those two. Okay, so the films prior to 1980. Or like classic cinema. That's probably two separate things. Classic cinema, Double Indemnity, Citizen Kane, and something should jump to mind. Psycho. Okay, I'm just going to throw that out there. There's probably a better choice than that, but that's the one that came to mind instantly. They're your three. Films that inspired me the most would be anything by Kubrick that was pre-1980. There's probably some other ones pre-1980. Playtime by Jack Tati. 12 Angry Men. That's your third one. So not whatever I said was Double Indemnity, Citizen Kane, and 12 Angry Men. They're the classic. It's a classic cinema. Classic. I don't know what that was supposed to be. Big fan of Tame Impala. Yeah, someone put Tame Impala in there, and I was like, yes, Tame Impala. Okay. What's your favorite Harry Potter film? My favorite Harry Potter film is The Prisoner of Azkaban, followed by The Half-Blood Prince. I am a book fan and I'm a movie fan. Those two things are not intersecting for me. So the problems that people have with the books based on the movies are two very separate things for me. The books are the books, the movies are the movies. So big fan of Prisoner of Azkaban. Okay, hang on. We got a super chat. Blake, how you doing? Blake Ison, my man. Thoughts on the Lighthouse reactions? So the Lighthouse is the new film starring Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe from the director. it's a black and white film, just the two actors as far as I know, and no trailer as of yet, but that's one to keep an eye on if you're an indie fan. If you're not a fan of slow burn horror stuff, it's probably not for you. But that one is, yeah, that's one that we want to keep an eye on. The Lighthouse, hell yeah. Sorry guys, just losing track of where we're at. So many questions to answer. This is so good, guys. This is so good hanging out with you. It's fantastic. Okay, so how visceral of a reaction did I have to watching Hereditary? So yeah, Hereditary was, in my review, I talked about Hereditary having incredible control of the audience. And so yeah, Hereditary really had me. Like, I'm not someone who jumps or screams or anything in a horror movie, or even gasps. I make no noise, but Hereditary has pretty much had me like on the end of a fishing line and then just whirled me around the room. It's an incredible audience control, truly, truly incredible. My opinion on who might end up ruling the Seven Kingdoms at the end. I'd like to say it's Jon Snow. It's Game of Thrones, guys. Sorry. I'd like to say it's Game of Thrones. Jesus, I'd like to say it's Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, I'd like to say the person on the throne at the end would be Jon, because he's a song of ice and fire. He is both ice and fire. It makes sense, but I could be Tyrion, or they're going to form a democracy. I don't really know. I don't theorize about TV shows anymore. I've stopped doing that. So, questions. Did I hear about Chris Rock rebooting the Saw franchise? I did, and it's very bizarre. Don't really know what to think about it yet. Don't really know what to think about it. Have I heard of Taco Bell? Of course I've heard of Taco Bell. They don't have it here. We have a lot of Mexican fast food, though, and that's where I hang out. I live for the Mexican fast food. Who would be a better ruler, Sansa or Jon? Sansa's easily the best ruler, would make the best ruler, I feel. Because she has a lot of empathy, but also doesn't take shit from anyone. Through the... So as someone who lives on the other side of Australia, how much travel do I have to get to other towns or cities? None, because you don't travel to other towns and cities. Everyone in my state lives in the one city. There's some people that live like up north, but I live in the most isolated city in the world, and it's just everything's built along one strip. So it's just one city that's really spread out. Have I ever watched The Bodyguard? No, I do need to watch The Bodyguard. I also need to watch The Raid. I have not seen the Raid movies, though I'd say I have seen them because I've watched most scenes from them. Have I watched Deadwood? No, Deadwood, like The Wire, is another show that I need to check out at some point. Did I watch Lucifer? Lucifer is not my gig, unfortunately. That's not my kind of show. Thanks for suggesting Foxtrot. Yeah, anyone who hasn't checked out Foxtrot yet and is open to watching international cinema, Foxtrot is my favorite foreign language, like non-English language film ever. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. So trying to keep up. Okay, so if you want to get into making short films, guys, watch video essays on YouTube to learn. I say this every time I do a Q&A. You don't need a film school. You just need to watch a lot of video essays, do a lot of reading, read scripts, see how the pros do it. And then all you need to do is pick up this thing after writing a script of your own and go out and just shoot it. Actors are most important, unless you've got like some super kind of complex story that's all about visual stuff. It doesn't matter. People are what we connect to first. The actors are everything. Focus on the actors. Just an idea. I'd love to talk about the Mary Sue thing more. But the thing is, with my video essays, they're not really video essays. My videos on Loverboy on that channel, I don't really want to talk about issues. You know, I'll start talking about movies at some point that people I think have been unfairly abused. There's one film that I've been kind of working on for a while, working on doing a video, and I've been writing it slowly because it's going to be about a 40-minute video when I do it. But there's definitely, I'd like to talk about more films that we could appreciate more. We'll see about ideas down the track, but I need a better idea of how that channel works first. Uh, Very interested. So I did watch Westworld season 2. Watch it at the time. I watched it like after it had already come out, and I wasn't a huge like. I see when I think about Westworld, I just think about season 1. I kind of pretend season 2 didn't happen. I like season 2, but it just didn't. It's been my least favorite season of TV I've watched in a while. I don't watch bad TV, so I guess stuff that people classify as bad. I don't really watch shows. I only watch stuff that's, I guess, acclaimed. And Westworld, of those acclaimed things, was my least favorite. So, what else is going on? God, it's cold. It's so cold. I'm a summer person, and the winter's absolutely beating me up. What are my thoughts on Ex Machina? I love Ex Machina. I think Alex Garland is brilliant. Obviously, Annihilation was my favorite movie of last year. I absolutely love Alex Garland, and I love Ex Machina, and he has a TV show coming out next year, and I'm very excited. Do I rent or buy? This equipment behind me is mine. You guys on Patreon help me out with that stuff. So those of you that are supporting me on Patreon are just amazing. It's how I was able to finally get a light that made me look okay. I'm eventually going to black out this wall and put up soundproofing stuff all around this room. And I'm going to start recording my Breaking Banter videos like directly in front of me. So I'm not doing this weird side angle thing because I don't like it. It's just because I don't have the money to sort stuff out. Michael Stuhlbarg's monologue from Call Me By Your Name. Whoever asked that before about favorite monologues, that's probably my favorite. Michael Stuhlbarg's one in Call Me By Your Name. That monologue is life-changing. Have I seen Lawrence of Arabia? Yes, and I watched it a couple of months ago in a cinema, and I was stunned by it. What an incredible movie! An incredible movie, Lawrence of Arabia. Stunning. Absolutely amazing. What game am I looking the most forward to? Cyberpunk. Sorry, Last of Us fans. I am looking forward to Last of Us Part 2, but Cyberpunk, a new game by the guys that did The Witcher. Hell yeah. Who's my favorite superhero? My favorite superhero is Spider-Man. Though my favorite. So this is the thing. My favorite superhero stories are Batman stories, and my favorite superhero is Spider-Man. Take that however you will. I've actually only finished about 4 TV shows, I think. I don't think there's only 4 TV shows I've watched all the way through, which was Breaking Bad, The Leftovers, Game of Thrones as of tomorrow. There's other ones. I don't really finish TV shows if I don't like them. I kind of go, oh, you know what? This is the last season that had great reviews. Then I might watch the first episode of the next season and be like, oh, this is different. I tend to usually jump out. So I've never really finished a show that I haven't enjoyed. Is there any particular style or genre that you want to explore when you start making more films? I want to start working with a bit more comedy. All my stuff I've made has been dark and depressing and I want to do a bit more comedy stuff, or at least inject more comedy into the stuff that I make. And hopefully I've got a project coming up soon that will hopefully allow me to do that. Even if it's not me directing, hopefully I'll get to actually write the stuff. So that's what we got looking forward to. Thoughts on Shawshank Redemption? Of course, it's amazing. Oh, I did finish Hannibal. Sorry, I'm just trying to scroll through the questions to keep up. So I did finish Hannibal, but Hannibal did not finish. So there you go. What movie do I feel the most nostalgic for from my childhood? Well, I haven't rewatched all of the movies from my childhood. The Lion King, Shrek. A big one for me that I haven't rewatched, but I think about all the time is Disney's Atlantis movie, Atlantis: The Lost Empire. I want to do a Why I Love video on that because I don't think anyone on the internet has covered it. Copyrighted. That video belongs to me. I want to do a video on that, and I want to do a video on Treasure Planet because I also love that movie and I have a really strong connection with those. Same as Lilo and Stitch. Early 2000s Disney movies. People seem to hate them all. I love them all. So there you go. Do I have any plans for international film festivals in the future? Yeah, I'd love to go to a few, hopefully with a film. But yeah, I'd like to go to some. It's just I'm financially a little bit struggling a little bit right now. Who would have thought moving out of living in your own house would be expensive as it is? Okay, I'm gonna start jumping through these questions a bit faster. What do I think about the A24 Under the Silver Lake fiasco? I haven't really been keeping track of it, but I know that they were asked to re-edit the film after it had dodgy reviews, and it got re-released, and people still kind of thought the same thing about it. So I still haven't seen it yet. I do need to check it out. Better movie: John Wick 3 or Mission Impossible Fallout. I can't answer which one's better. I can say that I like Fallout more. I don't think Fallout is my favorite action movie behind Fury Road. So yeah. Sorry. Top 3 MCU and DC films. So my top 3 MCU films are Endgame, The Winter Soldier, and Iron Man 3. And my favorite DC films, which I don't think is a DC EU question, because otherwise, if it's DC EU, it's Wonder Woman, Shazam, and BVS, I think. And if it's DC films in general, then it's just the Nolan trilogy. That's it. What would you say? Top 5. So top 5 TV shows is The Leftovers, Breaking Bad, True Detective Season 1, BoJack Horseman. It's Better Call Saul would be my 5th right now, though it could be Sharp Objects, even though it's a mini series, and it could be Barry, depending on season 2, because Barry's right up there. So that's probably it. Have I read Robert McKee's story yet? No, but I've heard a lot about it through lessons from the screenplay. So I'll learn more about that as we go. There's a bunch of other screenplay books I've got to read. I've only actually, look, guys, I'm going to be honest. I haven't read a book in 6 years since high school. And so what I've been reading at the moment is Grapes of Wrath. Don't know if you can. Grapes of Wrath is what I've been trying to get into reading at the moment, because I need to get back into reading more. I need to have more downtime where I chill out and read and stop sitting on my phone. Have I seen any Ingmar Bergman? No, I haven't yet. I do need to watch Persona. The guys have been asking me to watch it for ages, and I just haven't got around to it. So I do need to watch more of those. So many questions, guys. This is great. I said I'd go for 45 minutes, but I might go for a bit longer depending on how many questions we've got coming through. Have I seen In the Mood for Love? No, not yet. I really need to. I really need to see that movie. Do I need to get funds to finance my movie as my first movie? Look, the reason why I'm so broke all the time is because when I was in uni, I funded all of my films myself. And that's a lot of money to recover from. That's a lot of money I spent on films that I made, which is good because that's how I learned. But making a good film doesn't cost a lot, and that's what I wish I'd understood. I'm glad I spent a lot of money on the films that I made, and that got me to learn a lot about the technology and the processes when you're working with a bigger crew, bigger cast. And I'm glad I did all that. But to make a film that has an impact on someone, all you need is one good actor, and again, your phone, and tell the story. A good script. That's all you need. And you can work your way up from there. But don't start spending money, whether it's your own money, or don't start trying to get financing if your stories are not up to par just yet. And let's be honest, guys, if you've just started out, they won't be. You got to do a lot of work before your stuff's decent. I've been lucky that I've learned fast because I review every movie I see. I have to actually analyze every movie. I spend a lot of time. I don't just go, oh, I like that, I didn't like that. I spend a lot of time really getting to know the movies that I watch. And so that's how I've managed to learn storytelling really fast. But other than that, it's a lot of work, guys. It's a lot of work. Why am my content so awesome? Thank you. I don't have an answer to that. I'd like to think that people enjoy watching my stuff because I guess I have a knowledge, but I think more than anything, I think I'd like to be known for my content having a lot of empathy for the process and for the creators. I don't just go, someone made this for me to review, and oh, they made this thing I don't like. Fuck that. You know, I look back at my reviews in the past, and Jay and I were talking about this recently. Some of the reviews we used to do, and we were so nasty to some filmmakers, just rude and hateful. And I guess we were talking, you know, I look back at our Justice League review and I talk from a place of passion with that review. And Suicide Squad, I talk from a place of passion, but I don't know if it's fair to talk about the art of other people in the way that we used to. So I think that's what this year my focus on the other channel has been. Kind of, you know, like I've learned more about film criticism and talking about movies from the 9 videos, the 8 videos I've made for the other channel on Loverboy. I've learned more from the process of making those videos than I have from the 4 years I spent doing Breaking Banter before now. Just learning a movie is so much more than what we see on screen. And so I really learned a lot from that. Oh, Blake, thank you again, man. What are we asking? I find it hard to come up with film ideas, but I want to make movies. Any tips on better creativity? That's a hard one, man. Any tips on better So that's the thing. I really struggle to come up with ideas. That's why I take so long. For those of you guys that follow my other channel, that's why I take so long to come up with videos. I'm the only YouTuber I know who spends more time writing their videos than they do editing them. Creativity is hard, man. And that's even from people who are naturally creative. We'll say that creativity is hard. The easiest way to come up with ideas is to be involved in as much of life as you can. Now, that sounds like a broad thing to say, right? But I don't know whether those of you guys out there work day jobs. You know, you've got a job or you're at school. Start paying attention to people and the way they communicate and the way they interact with each other. And every time someone communicates, it's a exchanging of information and emotion. And the more you start to read the dynamics of the way the world operates, the more ideas will naturally come to you. Like, look, you hear it here for, actually, no, I probably shouldn't say it because the show's not done. Basically, I'm working on something now that was an idea. I'm working on quite a big project, and the idea, unfortunately, I can't say anything about it, but the idea was something that I think about a lot, you know, something that was personal to me, a question that I had. I think that's the best way to approach. If you want to tell stories, take the questions that you have about life, about the life that you're living, about the world, and translate those questions. Use film to explore them. That's my suggestion. For you want to be more creative, every day you go out, come home and write about some interesting thing that you saw. Write a paragraph on some interesting thing that you saw, and ideas will start to come naturally to you. Do not be afraid of bouncing your ideas off something else, of having, you watch Breaking Bad and go, I want to tell a story about a criminal that wants to become a chef. Now, yeah, that's pretty similar to the premise of Barry. But fuck it. That's your idea. That's your idea that you've got. Just run with it. Just give it a try. I don't know. Hopefully that answers it. I don't know. That's a really hard one. Hey, how do you get more creative? Get less distracted. That's the biggest thing. The more distractions you have, the less time you're going to be feeling creative. Have I ever seen Vikings? I've seen the first season of Vikings because I watched it with a friend. Haven't seen any more. Again, not really my thing. I liked it, but I didn't really like it. Am I planning a live video after the Game of Thrones finale? I won't do a live video before. I don't know if any of you guys are YouTubers out there. If you do a live stream, it really messes with the views on previous videos. So don't do a live stream after you've just posted a new video because it'll dip the views on it massively. So I won't do a live stream directly after. I might do one down the track where I want to, if you guys, I'll keep it on the cards, but I was probably going to do a video like a week later on, my thoughts on the Game of Thrones finale a week later. Emperor's New Groove. That was my movie. I love that movie. Emperor's New Groove was amazing. Sorry, guys, I'm so far behind in your questions. Let's run through some real quick. Do I play narrative-focused games? Yes, I prefer narrative-focused games. I don't play multiplayer anymore. A Plague Tale does look amazing, but I won't be picking it up. I still have Red Dead Redemption to play. I'm so far through. I'm not very far through, did I mean to say. Favorite films that I think are underrated or underappreciated. American Animals is my go-to. American Animals, Vox Lux, Macbeth from 2015. Do I care about the X-Men comics and movies? Yeah, look, I don't really care about, I say that, but if I was to do like a big deep dive on the X-Men films, I'd probably love them all. I love Days of Future Past. I love X-Men 2. I love Logan. But yeah, comics, I don't read comics yet. I might do that one day, but I'm keen to see what happens with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four now that they're a part of the MCU. I just want them to get Emily Blunt and John Krasinski for Fantastic Four. What are my thoughts on Green Book winning Best Picture? I've talked about it before. I used to have a lot of animosity to that film that I realized came from a place of people saying, like, I really enjoyed Green Book. I don't think I wasn't blown away by it, but I think the movie tried to do something, and publicly we realized that it probably wasn't the right people telling that story in the right way. Still a fine movie. Still a fine movie at the end of the day, guys. Have I watched Doom Patrol? I haven't watched Doom Patrol, but Alex has been pretty High Top Films. My boy High Top Films. Alex has been super convincing with that, so I might check that out soon. How do you get high quality footage from YouTube videos? Okay, so any of you guys out there that are YouTubers that want to get high quality footage from your films, buy the Blu-ray. I buy the Blu-rays of every film I do essays on and rip the footage from the Blu-ray. Alternatively, you can torrent them if you don't want to spend all that money on every movie on the MCU. Otherwise, if you need trailer footage, there's a site called hdtrailers.net, and that has like uncompressed trailer files. So that's really good if you're talking about new movies that are just coming out. So there's that. Who's my favorite actress right now? Right now, it's Zazie Beetz from Atlanta. She's incredible. You guys would have seen her as Domino in Deadpool 2. That actress is phenomenal. She's blowing my mind right now. Big fan of Jessica Roth as well. Favorite actress overall right now, it's Amy Adams, I guess. Always Amy Adams. Infinity War versus Endgame. They're both fantastic. Endgame just happened to be pretty much one of my favorite superhero movies ever. I've seen Endgame 3 times. I'd watch it every day for the rest of my life if I could. I love that movie. I've got to check out Daredevil. I've watched season 1 of Daredevil. I've got to do season 2 and 3. I'll get onto that. I can't do audiobooks because I zone out. I've tried it once and I was like, just walked away from my phone and I stopped paying attention to it being in my ears. It's like, audiobooks, like I'm not good with. Make a video about Lost. I have to see Lost first, and it's been spoiled to oblivion, but I do need to check it out. So expectations for Big Little Lies season 2. Andrea Arnold is directing episodes. She worked on American Honey, which is one of my favorite underrated movies, as well as a couple of other movies that are fantastic. So she's going to be doing that. So Big Little Lies season 2 is going to be fantastic. Are my housemates also filmmakers or film people? Like, yes. So Jay, John, that you guys might have seen in a couple of videos, is also a filmmaker and a writer. He just finished his 8th screenplay. He's a fantastic writer. And then my other housemate, Alan, is an audio engineer and musician, and he's fantastic. So yeah, everyone in the house is a creative person, which is a fantastic environment to live in. What are my thoughts on the current state of Blu-rays? I didn't think about it too much till the Blu-ray. Oh yeah, heaps of movies don't get Blu-ray releases. They just get released on DVD. It's just bullshit. I haven't listened to Igor yet. The new Tyler the Creator album. I need to listen to it at some point. Tips for a filmmaker in Perth. What's the best way to go about it? Pick up a phone. YouTube is your best asset. Your mobile phone and YouTube. I keep saying that. Filmmaker in Perth. What's it? Oh god, guys, I'm so far behind. Did the MCU put themselves in a hole making Thanos the ultimate big bad? No. I'm ready for them to do some low-key stuff going forward. Shazam, or like the Joker film that DC is doing. Small-scale stories. You can have a world-ending threat and then go back to... look, that's something that the Spider-Man PS4 game did that was amazing, was at the end of the day, there's all this hectic stuff going on, but Peter's still struggling to pay his rent. And you could make an entire film out of Peter just struggling to pay his rent, you know? You can tell those stories however you want. Dreamcast for my own film. Never thought about it before, but oh wow. Dreamcast is... God, I don't know. I just want to work with Jessica Roth. I really want to work with Jessica Roth. I think she's incredibly underutilized. I have a huge super chat. A huge super chat. You're amazing. What do you think of Park Chan-wook's work? I feel like the thirst needs to be talked about more. I'm so sorry. The only Park Chan-wook film I've seen is Old Boy. Now, Old Boy is one of my top 20 films ever. I love that movie. But I haven't seen enough. I need to see The Handmaiden. I need to see all this other stuff. I feel so bad I haven't seen more of his movies. Because Old Boy is one of the most influential movies on me I've ever seen. That movie is... guys, I want to do a video on it one day on why I love Old Boy, because it's just... Old Boy is just a beautiful... look, it's a messed up movie, but it's a beautiful movie. It's one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. Best Lord of the Rings movie. I guess my favorite's Return of the King, but they're all equally good. It's hard to separate them. Have I ever watched Man Bites Dog? No, I haven't. That's another one I need to check out at some point. Another one that I need to check out at some point. So I will check that out. But yes. Thoughts on James Charles. Guys, this surprises a lot of people, especially for those people that follow me on Twitter. I do not stay up to date with YouTube at all. Like I'm going to be honest, the only YouTube I've watched in the last 2 months has been like my friends' video essays. So like the guys in Film Hub, the other guys that I talk to on YouTube, the other essayists. I've watched my friends' content, but I just don't watch other YouTube. You know, I used to watch like H3 and stuff. I don't watch H3. I don't watch any of those channels. I don't keep up to date with YouTube drama. I don't care. The world's on fire. I watch way more political stuff and TED Talks and that type of stuff. YouTube drama, guys, I hate to say this. I'm going to be honest. It is a waste of our time. And it's there's so many creators out there trying to make the world better and trying to make you more informed and trying to teach you stuff and engage with you about stuff. The vloggers and all that are just, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, these people are terrible people. Everyone's out there got to hustle. They got to make their content, and I respect that. But yeah, I think there's so much other stuff. You know, I don't care if you watch interviews with celebrities or whatever. It's probably better than YouTube personalities. Anyway, that's my take on the James Charles scenario. I didn't know who he was until 3 days ago. Noah Sparks, thoughts on Forrest Gump? I love Forrest Gump. It's a movie built out of empathy. Of course, I love that movie. And I can understand how it doesn't click for people because it's so what would you call it? Not structured. It's so, I guess, inorganic, but it feels organic to me. I totally get why Forrest Gump doesn't work for people. I just happen to love the movie, and I can understand why it's not for everyone. It's so implausible, I guess, but I think it's about the magic of what life is. Maybe, I guess, I don't know. What are my plans for my YouTube channels? So, look, no matter what happens between the two channels, I don't know where I'm going so far. I know that I think the other channel really is my passion right now, but I want to keep reviewing movies for you guys. I want to keep talking about movies. This channel's actually doing really well. At the moment, it suddenly started to do really well again, so I thank you guys for that. But I know that even when I get into filmmaking, let's say I don't think it's going to happen. I doubt it's going to happen. Let's say at the end of the year, I was like, you know what? I'm not making YouTube videos in the way that I am anymore. And guys, don't worry. The chances of it happening are like but less than zero because I enjoy this too much. But even if I was like fully into a filmmaking career, I think it's important for me that I'd still make videos for you guys about my filmmaking career. And I'd like to do what's his name? The guy that directed Shazam, he still makes YouTube videos. The channel's called Pony Smasher. The director's name is not coming to mind, but I'd love to do what he does and still make videos. I'd love to hopefully keep inspiring people. Look, even if let's say I somehow magically became a director at Nolan's level one day about something, I don't know. I'd love to. This channel's a resource to connect with people who, that's something that's important to me is like, if in my filmmaking journey, I'd love to find the people who don't know how to start it and hold their hand through the process and be able to give them some direction to get there. I think that's important to me. I'm going to wrap up once we hit about an hour, guys. So I'm going to try to get through stuff a bit more. What are my PC specs? So I'm not using a PC. I'm using a laptop, which I wish I'd known I was going to move out before I bought it because I'd have a desktop PC instead of running everything through a laptop. The good thing is my laptop is like maxed out. I can't remember the specs off the top of my head, but it's like you physically cannot get more shit inside a laptop to get it to work than this one. And it's been a blast. It's been the best system I've ever had. Processes fast as hell. I've got like whatever the max amount of RAM is you can get inside a laptop. I don't know if it's 32. I think it might be 32. I don't know, 32 gigs of RAM. Either way, it's powerful, and I never have crashes, put it that way. The only time my laptop crashes is if I accidentally do something to break it. I don't know. It's Premiere crashes, not my laptop crashing because I've overheated it or whatever. Will I attend Venice Film Festival again? Yeah, I'd love to. That was amazing. Thoughts on At Eternity's Gate? I never reviewed At Eternity's Gate. That movie was amazing. Willem Dafoe as Vincent van Gogh. A beautiful movie for those of you guys who are into Terrence Malick. It's amazing. It's so good. Did I know the bees are dying? Yeah, the whole planet's dying, and Australia just voted for letting it continue to die. So I'm a little bit salty about that still. But yes, the planet is dying, and looks like I'm going to have to go vegan. I was talking about it because Jay's vegan, and we were talking about it the other day, how I can slowly transition into it. I don't really need to eat beef, but I like eating fish and chicken. But I was like, well, got to start doing more. Unfortunately, I don't drive much. I drive, but I don't. But yeah, guys, we got to start looking after the planet real quick. Otherwise, our kids are going to be burnt alive by the atmosphere. What resources would you suggest for getting into film criticism and analysis? What resources? There's only one resource you need. Actually, no, there's two. The internet and empathy. Guys, I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of us out here reviewing movies, right? And everyone that's already, the space has been kind of claimed. Always room for new creators. But I haven't broken big because... my reviews pop up like 100th down the list underneath Jeremy Jahns and Chris Stuckman and Grace Randolph and whoever else, Angry Joe, whatever, because the space is being claimed and those guys are just getting bigger and the smaller guys are struggling more and more. But anyway, the internet's your resource. Second resource is empathy. We need more critics that care about movies more than they care about their own opinions. I do not give a fuck about my own opinions anymore. It changes. That's why I don't score movies. I change how I feel about a movie the next day, straight away. You got to. The internet needs more people who feel movies, who don't go, another piece of shit by another piece of shit director keeps making trash. We don't need more people doing that. We don't need more people going, I get views from being angry about fucking everything I see. We don't need people doing that. We need more people who care about movies, who care about creators, who care about making people feel. Guys, feeling is more important than thinking. God, that's a broad statement. That statement was too broad. Emotion probably has more value, I think, and not negative, not angry emotion. I think positive emotion and connecting to people is worth a lot. We need more of that. Blake, you're a legend, man. Dude, thanks for the shout out anyway on that. But yeah, at Eternity's Gate, again, because Blake's a fan, so we're going to throw that out there and say that at Eternity's Gate is, if there's one movie I recommend out of this this live stream, at Eternity's Gate, pure emotion, just an absolutely wonderful film. Not for everyone, but it's like a moving painting, a painting that you can feel. It's beautiful. What am I expecting in the next Christopher Nolan project? Perfection. That's it. That's all I got. Am I attending the Sydney Film Festival? No. I'm kind of taking a year where I'm spending the money that I spend is on. Look, guys, the unfortunate thing is I worked so hard on YouTube for the first 2 years that I missed out on a lot of the stuff I think you're supposed to do after you finish high school, the traveling and the partying. And so unfortunately, I'm kind of catching up on that stuff this year. So when I'm going back to Melbourne later this year and I'm going over for another concert and to hang out. Me and my boys are going over. I'm going to hang out and have a good time because I kind of miss doing that stuff straight out of high school. So I've got to get onto that. What would you suggest to me if I had a great story to tell? You're a screenwriter. Okay, so look, the hardest thing is to have a script and to not know what to do with it. The most important thing is you've got an idea, get it written down. But after that, it's once you got a script, what do you do with it? I don't know. There's a lot of competitions around that you can get your script put in front of pros and stuff, and that stuff's worth looking at. But if you got a script, find someone who knows how to make it, or make it yourself. Do a couple of test scenes, guys. That's a big one. That's a huge one. If you have a script and you want to get it made, go ahead and shoot like one scene from it, and then you can go to, I don't know what your local pitching bodies are, your government funded film resources, whatever. Go to them and say, hey guys, I wrote a script. The whole script's here. You want to see how that script looks on the screen? We made 3 minutes of the film for you to check out. Have a look. That's what I'm going to do. Did I hate The Hobbit? No, I liked those movies. I don't really hate anything anymore. I kind of love most things. No, so I didn't hate The Hobbit. I was actually a big fan of Desolation of Smaug and the first one, Battle of the Five Armies. A big give or take. I'm actually looking forward to Dark Phoenix. We're like dogpiling on that movie because, a couple of popular people on the internet said we hate it, so we're all going to hate it. And I'm like, we haven't fucking seen it yet, so I don't know. Thoughts on American Hustle? Love that movie. I'm a big David O. Russell fan. Yeah, so again, we're just another quick climate change thing. Yeah, cows contribute more to greenhouse gases than cars, which is why, guys, perhaps cut out beef. It's a good. Look, that's all I'm going to say about environmental stuff, guys. I'm going to start wrapping it up soon. So I'm going to start. How to get into composing film scores? Noah Sparks again with a question. How to get into composing film scores? So I'm assuming that would mean that you're a musician. Um, I okay. Here's something. Here's something that I know that people do. Find a scene from a movie you like off YouTube, download the scene, get rid of the music, and then try to just tinker and try to recompose. Don't try to compose what was already there. Make up your own music for it. It's a good place to start if you're a musician who wants to get into it. Otherwise, if you need composers for a film that you don't know any, find a DJ you like. Find someone who's making their own original music, and that's where you'll get the most interesting ideas. I've worked with a DJ before who's now a jazz drummer, and he did a horror film score. And it was incredible. He used all the sound of water like dripping from a tap, and then we just reverbed it, and it came out incredible. And then I also worked with a classical composer on an electronic score. You come up with some amazing stuff if you tinker. All right, guys, I'm going to kind of blast through a couple more questions and I'm wrapping it up. What are my predictions for the Game of Thrones finale? That I'm going to like it and the internet is going to hate it, and I'm going to have to deal with comments on my video about people hating it all week. That's it. Thoughts on petitions for destroying art to make stuff that you like more is dumb. Petitions to remove actors from things is dumb. If it's just, there's been times where there's been petitions to remove an actor from something because the casting has been like a whitewashing or something, and in that case, it's fine. There's been petitions to bring TV shows back. I know there's a petition going around for bringing back Daredevil. That stuff's fantastic, but petitions to destroy art is baffling. Absolutely baffling. I have seen Metropolis. Metropolis is a fantastic movie. Fritz Lang, an incredible director. Okay. Sorry, guys. What review do I disagree with most in retrospect? Easily my review of The Visit by M. Night Shyamalan. I think I've taken that video down. I still don't like that movie. I could actually like it in hindsight, but I still don't like that movie. But Jay and I just fucking bullied M. Night. It was disgusting. Watching it in hindsight, it's fucked up. What movie should I watch right now? What movie should I watch right now? I watched In Bruges yesterday by Martin McDonagh, who did 3 Billboards. Watch that. That was a great movie. Why was I mad at Lindsay Ellis dunking on D&D? Okay, so I think a lot of people misinterpreted. There was a thing on Twitter this week where I don't want to say called out Lindsay Ellis for something because that wasn't my intent. It was more, I wasn't mad at, I'm not mad at anyone who's angry at Game of Thrones, right? That's fine. 6 months ago, I would have been someone who was angry at the show this season. No, the thing I got mad at, not mad because I wasn't mad. The thing that I was kind of disappointed in with Lindsay Ellis was just someone who quite often talks about like toxic internet culture and the toxic way we communicate stuff, and then was like calling the writers of Game of Thrones like arseholes and stuff. And I was like, you're literally okay. So like, it's a problem until you want to start calling people that stuff. So that was my issue. It was more so like when people with a lot of power on the internet, kind of normalize the shitty ways the internet discusses art. That's what I kind of had a problem with. So it was just, look, I love Lindsay Ellis. I love her content. She's one of the best creators of all time. But just, those comments in particular when she was like, ha ha ha, you assholes. And I was like, whoa, yikes. Have I seen the Midsummer trailer? I watched like 30 seconds because I couldn't resist, and it's going to be a fucking masterpiece. Any big studio horror films that I love recently? Oh, so I loved Us. Us was fantastic. Am I a fan of Mr. Sunday movies? I've never watched any of his videos. but one of the guys that edits for him, Ben, has made some fantastic content. Ben's a great guy. Have I seen? No, I have not seen in this corner of the world. It's an anime film I haven't seen. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Have not seen that movie. Is it good? I'm assuming it's good. You've recommended it. It's a great drama about finding happiness in the darkest of times. Well, that's my kind of thing. Too many other movies to see. Am I excited for World War Z 2? Finch has pulled out of it, so I don't know. It's probably never getting made. Movie I'm most looking forward to in 2019 is... I forgot what. The Rise of the Skywalker. That's the movie. I've had a massive blank on it then. Yeah, so Rise of Skywalker, or whatever it's called, the next Star Wars. Have I seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? Yes, I loved it. What do you do with writer's block? Guys, I am debilitated daily by writer's block, and then writer's block turns into procrastination. Find people that put parameters on you. If you cannot control it yourself, you can actually sit there and break through it. It's writer's block tends to happen to people who, I guess like me, who are unable to put down anything other than what they think is like the perfect words. That's what I struggle with. Like half the essays I write, I should just write a bullshit version, like a shitty version, and then go back and edit it later, but I can't. I have to the precise word by word, and that's why I get stuck. That's why I've got to wrap up. I've got to finish writing the John Wick video so I can record it tomorrow. So it's just, if you can break through that and be okay with write generally, like a generalization of what you want to write, of what you want to have achieved, and then go back and fix it later. That's my advice. Thoughts on Emilia Clarke's performance in this season of Game of Thrones? She's been incredible. She's been one of the best parts of the show. My favorite Wes Anderson film that I've seen is Fantastic Mr. Fox. Beautiful movie. Best Game of Thrones character. Again, best at what? So my favorite Game of Thrones character, Jaime. It's probably Jaime or the Hound or John. I know most people feel like John's empty, but I really connect with John. I love him. Have I watched The Way Back? No, I haven't. Have I seen Twin Peaks? No, I haven't. God, I haven't seen Malcolm X either. Guys. Am I related to Kit Harington from Game of Thrones? That's why I'm a big fan of Jon Snow, because we are related. No, I'm not. Guys, I'm going to answer like 2-3 more questions. Have I been enjoying Disney's live action remakes? Yes. And that's all I have to say about that. I'm seeing Aladdin this week. So you guys will get to see a review of Aladdin this week. I think it's going to be good. I don't know what people just dunking on it for. Stop dunking on movies if you've only seen the trailer. You know, if you've only seen the trailer, stop dunking on a movie. You know, excited for trailers for stuff that turns out to like not be stuff that we like, and then we get dunk on trailers for stuff that turns out to be good. Trailers don't mean anything. That's why I stopped doing reactions, because trailers don't mean anything. What movie got me into film? The Prisoner of Azkaban. And I'm gonna finish on that one final thing. Winter is coming. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for this one. I'm going to do one of these again next month. I'm going to make sure that I can do one every month. In about 2 weeks' time, I'm going to do a live stream on the Loverboy channel. So if you guys have not subscribed to Loverboy Media, please do so. Please check out my latest video on the MCU. A lot of work went into it, and it's a big fan of, if I'm allowed to say so myself, I'm a big fan of that video. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you guys so much for supporting. Thanks for you guys that I engage with you guys. It's always been something that's been really important to me about YouTube, is that this platform is not like film. I don't make a product and then just put it out there. I connect with you guys every step of the way. And so that's why I like to do this. I like to make sure that we get to hang out like this. So you guys have a good day, good night, whatever time it is. I'm going to do a bit more writing, and then I'm going to watch another episode of Atlanta. So I'll see you guys either tomorrow for the Game of Thrones review, for the finale review, or I will see you on Wednesday or Thursday with my Aladdin review. But yeah, until then, thank you so much for hanging out, guys. See you soon.